Bet it's broken. Gotta be broken. Right? Like, who are the participants in this thing? Oh, no, man. Maybe it's just not populating on my screen, because this is whack. Let me make sure that it's populating on y'all's screen. Let me get the exterior here. What's the exterior one say? Because, like, if I could see it on the exterior, that's going to make a lot more sense to me. Let me see. Where's the chat? Oh, see? It's on the exterior one. It's not on mine. All right, y'all in here. That's my bad. Like, I see it on the exterior one. Like, I got an internal view, so I didn't see anybody. Like, there was no chat populating in my back-end view. So I went to the YouTube page to see who was in here. All right, cool. All right. Let me see what we got in here. Let me say hi to the folks, and then we'll move on to another topic. Michael Vogt in here. Corey Karoff in here. Does TU have a shot against Cincy? Yes, TU has a shot against Cincy. Ain't much more than that, but like I'm going to be looking at Marcus Freeman to be the next head coach at University of Tulsa, know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm thinking at. I love Marcus Freeman. I need Marcus Freeman coaching my team. Dog. He said the G is Grambling State, not Georgia. Look, man, it can be both. Both of y'all cribbing from Green Bay. Stop that. It doesn't matter. As much love as HBCUs get on this channel, I'm going to need you not to come at me with that. All right? My God. It's like saying the U. Tulsa Union down the street says the U. Don't nobody come after them. It's not like everybody in college football is creative anyway. Copycats, everybody. Everybody steals from everybody else. Yeah, man, I talked about COVID earlier. What's got in here? Too mad. Let's see. What else we got in here? Buckeyes are going crazy this year. You know, we'll talk about the Buckeyes here in another week. Let me see. Dude in here talking about I just saw the man's commitment. Yeah, man, I made that segment already. All right. So the 247 Sports 2020 talent composite is updated, and it's wild, right? Because, well, I'll tell you about it. So the 247 talent composite says how many 4 stars, 5 stars you have on the roster, right? How much talent you have on the roster. And usually you can guess probably 60, 70% of the teams that are going to finish in the top 10 on that roster, right? But Georgia's the top team in talent, which makes sense because they finished number 1 in 2 of the last 3 recruiting classes, with adding 5 stars like JT Daniels, right? Keely Ringo, Broderick Jones, Jalen Carter, Darnell Washington in there, and then you got dudes like Demetrius Robertson, right? Makes sense. Alabama in there at number 2, right? For all the reasons that we know. Najee Harris, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Drew Sanders, Dylan Moses, Patrick Surtain, and on it goes, right? Then we got at number 6, Clemson, okay? This is what adding Brian Brzee, DJ Uyunglele, right? And you get to keep guys like Travis Etienne and Amari Roger, right? You get to keep all those dudes. Say nothing of Xavier Thomas is on the team even if he's not playing. But what I found to be wild is that Tom Herman's Texas Longhorns are sitting at number 5. What? Like, I've been saying this for some time, but I think this crystallizes it. I've said this is the most talented Texas team we've seen since 2009. I said it going into the season. I said that was the reason to be terrified of Texas, and then Texas underperforms. Nobody does less with more than the University of Texas. Because if you look at their roster, it's the kind of roster that we would tell you to put the sticks down if you picked them on NCAA. It's the kind of roster that the computer cheats with. You have Bijan Robinson, Roshan Johnson, and Keontae Ingram. You got Jake Smith and Jordan Whittington. You got Tarek Black and Malcolm Epps. You got Jared Wiley and Brennan Eagles. And that's on the offense. That's before we start to talk about Caden Stearns, Jawan Mitchell, Joseph Asai, Keandre Coburn, Vernon Broughton. Like, can keep going here. The idea that Texas is a 2-2 squad through 4 games is maddening. It's maddening. And that's why people are saying I'm done with Tom Herman. It's because you've had 4 years to get this right, man. He's also 1-4 against Oklahoma. Okay. You know who, like, he's got 2 wins over the course of his career against Oklahoma. One of them's at Houston, right? They go 9-3 that year. 2018 in the Red River rivalry regular season game, only to get beat down in the Big 12 championship game. Meanwhile, Lincoln Riley's won 4 out of 5 against the University of Texas. Each time having a lesser, well, except 2017. So 4 out of 5 times he's had a less talented football team. What? Like, I can understand why you would get pissy if you are a Texas fan, because check this, right? You go from, my goodness, you go from being ranked number 9 to number 7 to number 5. Like, your roster keeps getting better, and you are 8-5, right? You go 10-4 in the best season that Tom Herman's had at Texas. Year before that, you're 7-6. So it feels like that 8-5 is actually who you are. Because you're not going to get to 8 wins this year. It's not happening. Like, Texas ain't winning out. You still got Oklahoma State on the schedule. You still got Kansas State on the schedule. You still got Baylor on the schedule if that game gets played. You still got Iowa State on the schedule. You barely beat Texas Tech, and they're not good. The same Texas Tech that had to beat Houston Baptist 35-33. Nah, man. I understand. Like, y'all know what it is. I don't even get down with Texas like that, like, personally. But I look at the roster and I say, how? How don't you make this into a national champion? Like, people talk about the Big 12 has never won a national championship in the college football playoff era. I'd be like, yeah, but they've only had one representative. So stop saying the Big 12 and just start saying Oklahoma. Till somebody else wins the Big 12, somebody else gets into the playoff. That's where we are within. And the talent composite. 2020. Okay? They were number 2 in 2016. They were number 3 in 2017. They were number 4 in 2018. Number 4 again, 2019. And then they had a recruiting class that finished number 64 in the country in 2020. The same year that they had Bryce Young committed to play. You had Bryce Young in the boat. And Steve Sarkisian came and got him from Alabama with the quickness. As bad as Tom Herman has been, what is the defense of Clay Helton at this particular time? What is it? Is it beating Utah with a third-string quarterback? Because Utah ends up in the Alamo Bowl getting beat by Texas. Is it making the Holiday Bowl? Because they got run by Iowa. Like, what's the defense of Clay Helton at this time? What's it going to take for Clay Helton to just go back to being an offensive dude? Perhaps letting Graham Harrell run USC if Texas don't come get him first. I mean, my goodness. This at a time when places like Oklahoma State continue to just overachieve. You got Tylan Wallace and Spencer Sanders. Those are your 4 stars. You got true freshman in Shane Illingworth, who's usurped Spencer Sanders. And then Chuba Hubbard turned into an all-world tailback.